Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from ICM, and this kit is made in 1/48 scale. So this is a helicopter model. As you can see, it's named as a Black Hawk Down, so it copies the aircraft from Operation Gothic Serpent. And what I have here on the table, that's the final shape of this release. Nothing will change, and if you get the kit number 48363, you will get exactly the same set of parts as what you'll see in this video, and you can get it already in Modelimex, by the way. So I have to note the box art here, which is quite nice, and again I would say it's a really good poster material, but unfortunately ICM does not make any posters. And here you can see comparison with my hand. Also on the side here you can see some safety advices and information about the kit. So it's written there are 310 parts, and the length of the finished model will be 414 millimeters, so do not underestimate this kit. Even though it's a 1/48 scale build, it still will take plenty of space, and it might be a good idea to find the space on your shelf. So there are 6 marking options available, and to be honest, I do not know the history behind this aircraft, so if you have something to say, feel free to write in the comment section. I will be happy to learn. I mean, we all know about the Black Hawk Down, but I somehow skipped this movie, so I guess I have to watch it in order to learn more. And if I flip over this box, as you can see here, we get the stickers. So these stickers are used to keep the top lid in place, because we have the cover printed top lid, just like on any other ICM kit. And I can also remind you that I reviewed the previous versions of this release, or of this helicopter as well, so you can find it easily on the same YouTube channel which you are watching right now. And as you might hear, probably I'm trying to open the box. It's a bit of a tight fitment because of this cover printed top lid, but it is already open, as you might have seen. And inside we have plenty of space. As you can see, all parts are neatly packed into one plastic bag, so I just need to place this box somewhere on my table so that it doesn't touch microphone, and open the plastic bag. It's one and only plastic bag, but it's a resealable plastic bag, so it's quick to open. And inside we get a lot of sprues and even the clear frame, which is packed into a separate plastic bag. But for the meantime, I will start with the frame K. So here we have the nose section of the helicopter, and I guess we can zoom in so that you can see what we are talking about here. As you can see, these are not such a large parts. Nevertheless, I would rather check their fitment on the model, again because of the size of the model, and also because on helicopter some areas are a bit more tricky. And what will be definitely tricky is this thing. So this is one of the propeller blades, or rotor blades if you prefer, and as you can see, it is molded as a large one-piece part. There are 4 of them obviously, and we also get slight sagging here, but I'm not sure if on the real aircraft it's actually heavily noticeable and prominent. So definitely check your reference materials so that you can copy it on your aircraft. But overall molding quality looks fine, and we have only 2 attachment points in the middle, and this is also a good thing, especially when they're placed on the leading edge. Next we continue with the fuselage halves, and if you saw the previous reviews here, I guess you will not be surprised by anything, but this is in a good sense, because in terms of the design nothing has changed. As you can see, both are molded together with the tail sections. Nose area is molded separately. As you remember, this is the bottom panel, or the floor panel, and we have really generous raised rivets on all of these parts. Maybe you can see them like this or like this, and this is something what might be worth to play with the weathering ideas, because usually these aircraft work quite dirty. And here inside you can also see the guiding elements. These are guiding pins which will help you with overall alignment of these 2 large parts. So here is comparison with my hand, just to give you an understanding. It's exactly what we were talking about in the beginning of this video, that 1/48 scale is still making up to quite noticeable build. So that's why treat it seriously, and then you will be rewarded with a quite nice result. Here we continue with more things. I guess these are the items on storage boxes and jerry cans which will be placed inside aircraft. And this is actually a new sprue. I do not remember it in the previous releases, so it might be actually a good thing to place inside, because original plastic has very good details in terms of the interior features, but here we are given a bit more, and I think it might be worth taking a chance and play a bit with the painting and weathering all of these items and getting a bit more convincing appearance. Here, by the way, you can see the top fuselage panel. This is the interior floor panel, let's say, because here you can see the cockpit floor section. This is actually the interior floor section. We also get the tail rotor there. We get the some parts for the front section. We have the separate doors, and all of this stuff will definitely come handy for some diorama ideas. As you remember, we do not get the figurines included, so I wonder if ICM will actually release the figurines for this set, but in the worst case you can find some aftermarket which will be suitable for this kit. In 1/48 scale, I think it might be possible to get some resin figurines to place inside the helicopter, at least several pilots, and it will be completely different appearance. Okay, so this is the sprue with these large panels. Then we get the two identical frames. These are frames E, and here, as you can see, we get the landing gear parts. We also get the machine gun, so I will just place it like this. So the Gothic machine gun, we also get some parts for the main rotor. There's different actuators and other stuff. So a lot of small things here. You can see them in this area. So be careful and have tweezers for this. Do not try to install them with the bare fingers, because there are no spare parts in this kit. So if you lose them, then you have to fix it by yourself. Next, we continue with two identical sprues which are marked as D. And here we get the interior parts. So as the previous versions, this one is quite generous in terms of the interior features. We get the cockpit, we get also the cargo compartment or the transport compartment, and all of the seats are replicated out of the box. As you remember, we also get the various storage boxes and the jerry cans. So this is really cool, and I think with proper paint work it should be actually a very neat feature on the model of the helicopter in 1/48 scale. Here we get the last gray plastic sprue. This one is also quite large. And here we get the parts for the main rotor, also some parts for the engine gondolas. We also get the cockpit consoles here, landing gear parts here, and again, a lot of surface features are pre-molded on these parts. So be sure to check some photos of the real helicopter so that you can understand what is actually the finish on those parts, how they get dirty, and how you can replicate them in a bit more convincing way. Because in 1/48 scale, I think it's quite important, and such things will be noticeable. They are actually changing the perception of your project, so that's why it's worth spending some time. We also get the clear sprue, which is packed into a separate plastic bag. As you can see, the molding quality is really perfect here. And the masks, I'm not sure about this, because well, usually ICM gives the masking templates, and we will see if that's the case with today's kit. But first of all, I have to show you the large decals sheet. So all of the symbols are actually printed on this one, and as you can see, the printing quality looks rather nice. We also get even the cockpit decals, so this is also cool. And well, these are not the seat belts as far as I can understand. So for the pilot seat belts, you have to get some aftermarket, but overall I think it's a really decent set of the decals. And as you remember, the amount of the marking options is also very impressive. 6 markings in 1/48 scale. This is quite good to get out of the box. And next, I'm closing the lenses because here we get the assembly manual. So this one is a color printed brochure. We get short history note, technical specifications, and also the colors chart. As you remember, ICM is making their own paints, so that's why they are given the paint numbers in their own designations, but it's not difficult to convert them into the necessary shades. Here we continue with the parts map. So as you can see, a lot of stuff actually is not used. These are mostly interior things which are not specific for the versions of the aircraft which were used in these operations. We start with the cockpit anyway, and here it's a good idea to plan in advance what should be painted, because otherwise it will be really difficult to reach to some parts and areas. And as you can see here, we also get some additional equipment installed which is specific for the third marking option, so that's why pay attention and maybe decide on what you will be copying in advance so that later you don't have to jump back and forth. Next, we continue with more features on the fuselage. Note that the assembly manual actually suggests to install the tail rotor on the fuselage half before joining the fuselage half. Obviously, nobody will be doing this. They will be installing it later. There are also some drilling suggestions or instructions, so follow this in order to install some additional elements, because otherwise it will be impossible to get them into the place. Here we also get different configurations of the nose section, again depending on the marking option. Engine gondolas get assembled on the next page, and here we continue with the landing gear, and also I can see that the various minor fuselage elements are installed. Gatling guns are in place, of course. And here we continue with more drilling on the fuselage. This is the top section as far as I can see, so I guess this will be for the antennas. And here is the main rotor assembly. So it is built out of several parts. And we have the masking template, so that's really cool because of the amount of the transparent areas on this aircraft. Here we have the first marking option from 1993. And I guess they will be all of the same year. But as you can see, all of these are black aircraft. Their main differences are in the config of the nose section and also interior, and also some parts installed on the aircraft. I can see there are also some options for the color choice, so pay attention to this, and maybe that's why it is important to get some references which you can use in order to base your choice for your particular build project of this aircraft. But overall, I think it's still nice to get 6 markings. And as I said, this kit is already available, so you can get it in Modelimex. Price is quite reasonable, on the same level with the previous releases. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion, so do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.